shiur is dedicated to Nishmas Rachalea Bas Rav Chaim Tzvi. We have been discussing the Isser D'Rabbanan of shehiya, leaving things over from before Shabbos to become cooked on Shabbos. We pointed out that whether you have such an Isser in the first place is a machlokas between Chananya and the Chachamim in Maseches Shabbos. The Gemara is found at the beginning of the third Perek Kira of Maseches Shabbos. The view of Chananya is if you have food that needs to be cooked from before Shabbos into Shabbos itself, as long as it's cooked from before Shabbos, Kameichel ben Jusai, 1/3, 1/2 cooked, will be machmir, 1/2 cooked, then you're allowed to, you don't even need a blech, nothing's required, we're not worried you might come to stoke the coals. After all, the food is already now edible, and therefore a blech is not going to be required. The shita of the Chachamim, on the other hand, is the Mishnah tells us that lo yiten ad sheyigrof o ad shitin esa'efer. You can't put the food up even before Shabbos until you cover up the fire or you sweep away the coals. The reason for this is because Shema Yachat Bechalim. You might come to on Shabbos, see that it's not cooking fast enough for you. You'll stoke the coals, and the blech serves as a heker, a reminder that you won't come to do so. So that's the basic machlokas, and we saw last time there's a major machlokas Rishonim. How do we pass in that question halacha? The Chachmei Ashkenaz, Rashi, Tosfos, pass in Kula, like the view of Chananya, and the Chachmei Svarad, the Rambam and the Rif, paskin lahalacha, like the shita of Chachamim lahachmir, and we further saw that the Rosh is unclear how exactly he paskins. He says on the one hand, the Yisrael Zadukim b'onek Shabbos, they're not going to listen to us anyway, no matter what we say. Hanoch lahem, leave them be. And he seems to say that he might want to be machmir, you might prefer to be machmir, but we can't be machmir because they're not going to listen anyway. Lahalach, we point out that this machlokas harishonim is a major machlokas lahalach and Shulchan Aruch as well. And the minhag of the Ramah of the Ashkenazim is, the Ramah says, is nagu lahakel kedei aha shniya. The minhag is we make it like the second view, and the Shulchan Aruch was machmir. And lahalacha, it seems from looking at the Bir Halacha, the Chazon Ish for sure is makel on the matter and holds like the shita of Chananya. The Bir Halacha says lechatchila we will try to be machmir for the shita of Chachamim. In fact, we'll even go beyond that. Is we're not going to allow you. We prefer that you go ahead and have the food fully cooked from before Shabbos. Kimavushal called sarcho. In order to before Shabbos begins, lest you come to accelerate the process of cooking and so forth. But mikra adin, if you didn't do so, you need something cooked quickly. You don't want to use a blech or anything of that sort. So the Bir Halacha says you have orchim coming, and you want to make sure there's enough food for them. So as long as the food is Michael ben Jusai from before Shabbos, a blech is not required. Again, la halacha, we generally use a blech, and a lot of halachic nafkamina will come up when it comes to this issue. We're going to address them as we go forward, and things like crock pots, things like other warming drawers and the like are going to create a lot of issues for us. And as we go through these in Yanim, we will first, today's shiur, we'll wrap up a few more points about shehiya, then we'll go do Chazara, and then we'll start to go through all those practical applications that will come up on every single Shabbos. They come up. In fact, when I teach Hilchot Shabbat to yeshiva students, to seminary students, a lot of times you read their eyes, you look at their face as you're going through some of these halachos, and there's a very tense feeling in the room. A certain tension evolves because I seem to remember that's what my mother does, and that's what happens in my house, and potential problems really do come up, and therefore it's very, very crucial to learn these halachos well. The Gemara in Maseches Shabbos Daf Yud Ches says that there are a few situations where you do not need garuf v'katim whatsoever. You don't have to worry about shehiya at all. One situation is as follows. The Gemara has Yud Ches Mebeis. Says, Hi Kedera Chaisa. If you have a Kedera Chaisa, what is a Kedera Chaisa? So Rashi explains that Kedera Chaisa is a pot that's never been cooked. In other words, a raw piece of meat that's in a pot. Shari Lanucha Erev Shabbos in Chashecha Betanura. You can put it on Erev Shabbos at the onset of Shabbos, before Shabbos begins, into a tanur. And you don't need any kind of blech, you don't need garuf v'katim, you don't need anything. This is even a tanur, which is more hot than a kira. It's permissible. If it's a kedera chais, that's mutter. Why, says the Gemara, my taima? The Gemara answers, Kevin de l'chazi l'urta. Since this food that you put up right before Shabbos, let's say you put up a piece of meat right before Shabbos, how long is that going to take to cook? It's going to take a long time to cook, 5, 6, 7 hours. As a result, since it's going to take so long to cook, no matter what you do, you could stoke the coals all night long, and it's not going to be ready for your Friday night meal because it's going to take too long. And therefore, if you put it up right away, you're not going to have a hesach hadas. You're not going to think about that piece of meat because there's no way, no matter what you do, is it going to be ready for Friday night. Therefore, it's out of your mind. You're not going to come to do chitui b'gechalin. Moreover, for the next morning when you will want to eat it, so no matter what you do, it's going to be ready. It's not going to be ready under any circumstance tonight. And tomorrow morning, it's certainly going to be ready. So therefore, there's no longer a chashash of shema yachatze b'gechalim, and therefore that's going to be mutter. Lo asi lechatuyah b'gechalim. However, if you have a situation of ubashil, if it's fully cooked, there's a problem. If you have a situation of bashal below bashal, it's partially cooked from before Shabbos, so then it could be ready for Friday night, and therefore it's going to be usher to put it up to be